Did someone say bear calf? It's been so long since Call of Warhammer Beginning of the End Times. Almost 3 months, I believe, since I last uploaded a video. And I've had a request for our favorite vodka swillin', gun totin', grizzly riding, fantasy Polar Russian chaos killers. So it was time to deliver on that front. Kislev in a free-for-all with the orcs and goblins, Skaven, and warriors of the blood god. Now there are a few things more satisfying in Call of Warhammer than riding down your enemies with a bunch of angry bears. And then the winged Hussars arrive, the Griffin Legion, who form the elite core of Kislevite military power. As their name implies, they fletch their wings with the feathers of griffins they've slain, but they'll have their work cut out for them here in the shifting dunes of Araby. Operating independently far out on my left flank are a unit of militia cavalry that have a bunch of guns, actually 2 of them, some bear cav, and some additional Griffin Legion. Now across the way, in the windswept deserts of Nehekara or Araby or wherever the hell we want to say it is, bunch of goblins in the front lines, and then a very, very terrifying rush army from the Greenskins. Orc big guns, a bunch of savage orc big gun boar boy cavalry, black orcs, squig hoppers, squigs, everything that would be terrifying for a Kislevite army to face down, because we're going to need to use a lot of our firepower if we want to cut through all this armor and all those numbers. So many Greenskins on the field today. Gojira is going full wall in this one, and things might be a little bit scary. Some more boar boy cav in the back. Let's shift over, take a look at the Skaven and the warriors of Khorne. So clan rats in the front lines with some storm vermin with halberds, armor piercing, good versus large units and good versus armor, and a bunch of Giselles in the front lines who are getting some early pot shots in, but have moved up a little bit too far, so you might want to retreat real quick, or they might get run over by some of those marauders with their great weapons. Some sensor bears charging in with the small rats ready to absorb the charge of the marauders, and some Khornate marauders getting in there as well, clad in all red, crimson, ready to cut through the Skaven ranks like a hot knife through butter. Warriors of Chaos charging in from behind, and some Khornate berserkers getting in there as well, and you can expect that they will run through pretty much anything they make contact with in melee. Grey Seers unleashing their warp lightning into the foe, immolating whatever they touch as the Great Horned One reaches out and pulls his enemies into oblivion, doing quite a number on the Chaos Warriors currently looking to slam into the unprotected flank of the Ratmen. And perched atop the Desert Runes, the premier shock unit of Khorne. Blood Red Demons riding hellish mechanical rhinos into the thick of the fighting, the Blood Crushers of Khorne. A stampede of crushing mass and reckless abandon with few equals. Chosen Knights of Khorne out on the flank as Poison Wind Warders unleash their gas into the middle of the ranks of the Blood God. And we've got a big melee fight going on right now. Cavalry looking to get in and behind, and maybe get some juicy hammer and anvils off. Chosen Knights of Khorne definitely looking to do some decent damage here. And you can see he's actually got some Bloodhounds of Khorne operating out on the flank as well. Urek looking to get some really good charges into the Storm Vermin with halberds and maybe shut down that artillery crew as well. So what he's going to do here is charge into the halberds and then probably quickly pull out. Meanwhile, he's pulled the Storm Vermin off the artillery crew, get a good charge into them, and shut them down, prevent them from firing. So pretty nicely played there if he doesn't lose too much cav against those halberds. Meanwhile, I have maneuvered my militia cavalry into the back. Gun Cav gonna unleash some volleys into the back of the Savage Orc Boar Boy Big Guns and get some good shots in there. And you can see pretty soon they'll start dropping like flies and they'll have to move. So putting some pressure on the back here as the WA moves forward. Big Guns taking a lot of losses to the musket fire as they move up. And this is gonna be very tough to shut down this Greenskin Rush Army because they've got a lot of units with a lot of power in melee. And my line is not particularly impressive. I've got a bunch of Kislevite halberdiers, which will not be able to trade well against Big Guns, Black Orcs, or even the Orc Boys, where they can hold for a little bit. Meanwhile, I do have some of my Kreml Guard behind with their great axes, could maybe do some decent damage in melee, but really it's going to be down to my cavalry, my Bear Cav and my Militia Cav to get some good shots in, while the Streltsy and the guns shoot in and hopefully take down those high-value targets. Not an easy fight, though. Looks like the Skaven General has already gone down to a bunch of the Khornate Berserkers, and the Big Guns and Savage Orc Boar Boy Big Gun Cav charging in from the flank into the middle of my Kreml Guard and into my Bear Cav. And I'm just going to try to hold back the tide here as my Bear Cavalry in the back look to maneuver, run through those archers, and then finally get those hammer and anvils off. Black Orcs charging through. Streltsy need to run because they really don't want to fight against Black Orcs in melee. Just like in Total War Warhammer, Black Orcs can be pretty terrifying in close quarters combat. Bear Cav have pushed through the front ranks of archers, now charging into the Orc archers, and we can maybe do some damage there. But this is exactly what Gojira wants, right? Because he has a bunch of archers in the back. They aren't meant to do anything important. They aren't going to kill stuff, but they block charges and prevent my cav from doing what they need to do to turn the infantry fight in my favor. Meanwhile, we get a good look at the chosen Knights of Khorne getting a great hammer and anvil off, and some rat ogres actually slaughtering some of the Chaos Knights, trying to get back into the middle of the infantry fight. But things are not looking so good for the Skaven right now, since their bears being overwhelmed by the Chaos Warriors, cut to pieces by the halberds out on the flank. And the Khorne Berserkers and some of those Blood Crushers have just done a number on the Skaven elite units. Finally, my Kislevite Bear Cavalry doing what they do best, charging into the back of enemy infantry and slaughtering them with their great weapons. And their angry bears ripping and tearing whatever they can get their claws and their teeth on. My Dryashki in the center, light infantry with dual-handed swords that are great versus infantry. There's just so much infantry to kill right now. Griffin Legion trying their best to hold on and deal with these Warboy Big Guns. But my Streltsy are firing in, getting some good shots. But with that multiple HP on some of the Greenskin units, the Black Orcs in particular, and I think the Warboy Big Guns have multiple HP as well, it can be very tough to bring them down. So I'm kind of being overwhelmed right now. Great hammer and anvil from Gojira into the back of the mosh pit as the Green Tide pushes forward with reckless abandon, swallowing up those Kislev infantry formations. Orc chariots going on their rampage, hunting down some of those running for their lives. Meanwhile, the cav engagements are going a bit better for me. Looks like we're slaughtering some of the goblin and orc archers who are left unsupported in the back. But I've been completely overwhelmed here. My opening volleys didn't do anywhere near enough to slice up the Greenskin numbers. And once they made contact, things got pretty bad in close quarters. They rolled through me without much trouble. So I need to lick my wounds, salvage what I can, and look for an opportunity to strike once the winners of each 1v1 have begun clashing again. Griffin Legion will be completely overwhelmed here. They're a great cav unit, but they're more light cav. They're meant for the fast strikes, good hammer and anvils, not really meant to go toe-to-toe with some of the heavier cav like the Orc Warboy Big Guns, who have some good armor and multiple HP. Orc Chariots getting a nasty charge into the middle of my Streltsy. Nothing I can do for them. They will die. They'll be run over in the back here, left to die by my Bear Cav and my elites. And Orc Boys charging in now. Yeah, they're going to slaughter them. It's over for my Kislevite gunners and my halberdiers. So, ripperoonies to them. That's okay. Just going to salvage what I can and focus on other engagements. The Squig Hoppers were so annoying. They actually slaughtered some of my Bear Cav out on the right flank. They're a great way to kind of screen and not even meat shield because they're like 2,500 gold. They're actually very good. They did a lot of work to my cavalry there. So, right now, Khorne and the cavalry that it was left after their fight with the Skaven, which was pretty brutal because, honestly, there's not a whole lot of the Warriors of Chaos left. There are some halberdiers moving up. There are the Blood Crushers and Chaos Knights. Khorne Berserkers still around as well. They'll be moving down the hill here in the deserts of ancient Nehakara and looking to get into some trouble with the Greenskins. So, Blood Crushers are left on the field, not many of them. There are some Chaos Knights. Meanwhile, Streltsy are the remnants of them being run over here. Greenskins have a decent amount left. I think Khorne can give them a run for their money if we work together a bit here. Unfortunately, there are some Fleshhounds of Khorne running this way, and I need to shoot them down because they're fast, they're agile, they're mobile. They can murder you in melee, so I can't let that stand because they can run down my light cav, charge forward with the bears, try to slaughter them here. Now, we're going to get a good charge off, and Bloodhounds of Khorne, they look small. They're not like doggos in Total War Warhammer, though. They're more dangerous than that. They can actually do very well against cavalry. You just saw 3 of my Bear Cav go down. Bear Cav are very good. Don't underestimate them. Don't underestimate them. They can absolutely slaughter stuff, but we are going to win that engagement. It's going to hurt, though. We're going to lose some cavalry there. Meanwhile, Chaos Knights running forward, don't care, charging forward into the middle of the Greenskin hordes. Not sure that's exactly what they want to do. I think he might want to save those for hammer and anvils, but at the same time, if he tried to move around the flank, that allows those Warboy Big Guns to get charges up the center. There is some routing on the Greenskin line here. Khorne Berserkers into the thick of the fighting, and the Greenskin Cav didn't get a good charge off. It could be a big deal. More of the halberdiers moving in now. Chariots actually cut through them. Just move right through them and into the back lines. Meanwhile, remnants of the Blood Crushers, only 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, actually, the general and 2 of his bodyguard getting in there. You can see one of them is a Skull Crusher. The general is a Skull Crusher. The 2 of them are the Blood Crushers, the demons. And they're getting in the thick of the fighting. But even with the incredible stats that the Blood Crushers have, when there are only 3 of them cutting in through like a massive Greenskin wall, it's going to be very tough to win that fight. You see my Bear Cav did beat back the Fleshhounds of Khorne, but not too many of them left. Storm Vermin and Rat Ogres, the remnants of the Skaven army from Woody, moving forward now. And I'm going to take the engagement because there's really not a whole lot left for me to do. Not scored resolution, so my chances of winning this game are dwindling very fast. Meanwhile, Black Orcs just completely slaughtering everything. And the general goes down for Kislev to a Rat Ogre punch. Falco punch right into the face, and the bears go down. And yeah, things aren't looking so good for anyone but the Greenskins themselves. But you just know Khorne's not going to let that stand. There's always more favor to earn for their Dark God, which means no matter the odds, no matter the numbers, forward unto the breach. There's definitely 6 sense of honor you get from some of the Khorne champions. I mean, let's be clear, they're not nice people. They're not nice demons. Demons rarely are. But they will sometimes pass over weaker prey and spare their lives for the opportunity to get at a bigger and much scarier foe. And right now, that foe is Gojira's Greenskin Wa, which straight up ran a train on my poor Ruskies, who didn't really stand much of a chance in that fight. The general goes down here finally, the Wa in the back. And honestly, I don't feel like that was down to my play at all. Like, it might have been a mistake to send my cavalry all the way around because they simply didn't get into the spot I needed them fast enough. But Gojira played that well. I mean, watch these Squig Hoppers. Watch what they do to these militia cavalry as they charge forward. They're going to get in and make contact, and immediately, like 7 of my cav died. 3 of them just killed 7 in like 2 seconds. I don't even understand the unit. I don't know. Maybe right there it might have been because they had routed, and so anytime they touch a routing unit, they die. But they did like the same thing to my Bear Cav, like screening the Boar Boy Big Guns as they charged in on my right flank. And I don't know, my Cav just kind of melted there. Meanwhile, the Cav that went all the way around behind definitely did some work. They killed some archers. They did get some good hammer and anvils off, but it just wasn't in time. I felt like the Greenskin Rush Army was just too much for Kislev to handle there. The army comps were just not correctly designed, I guess, maybe for my composition just might not have been right to fight the Greenskins. Maybe going more cav heavy would have been better, but it was tough, man. Like, in that choke point, I thought that my halberdiers would at least be able to hold. Nothing held against that Greenskin wall. We just kind of got stomped into the ground, which made me a little bit sad. But my cavalry definitely did make an impact. Black Orcs are just murdering everything they touch. Rat Ogres getting in there, and that will be their last stand. Not much for them to do as the game ends here. Really fun battle, honestly. I would have liked it to go a little bit better in terms of my engagement with Gojira, but it happens. I mean, rush armies in Medieval 2 and Total War Warhammer can work. I mean, this is how rush armies in Total War have always worked. If you get your units into the right spot at the right time, take out the enemy cavalry, prevent them from utilizing their strongest portion of their army, which in this case was my Bear Cav, then you can definitely win it. So Gojira played that very well. You can see the kills there. Looking at my kills, the Sons of Ursun, 141, not bad at all. Militia Cavalry got over 100. Got some good shots in. The Streltsy, I think, were my biggest, weakest link there. They just didn't do anywhere near enough killing to the front ranks of the Greenskins to cut down their numbers and make it a little bit easier for me to take that infantry fight. So, very good game. Thank you all for watching. If you want to see some more beginning and end times content, definitely let me know. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Any Pride signing out for now.